They say when pride and power collide inside a courtroom, the truth has a way of rising to the surface whether you like it or not. And that's exactly what's happening right now with Martell Holt. For years, he's tried to play the role of the doting father, the businessman, the reality star who just wanted to fight for his kids. But behind that picture-perfect image, the reality is much darker. His custody battle with Melody Sherry has just taken a turn that nobody saw coming, and this time, it's not just about lawyers, paperwork, or courtroom drama. It's about the raw truth of a man who may be on the verge of losing everything that once defined him. Because in this latest round, the court didn't just push back on Martell. They shut him down completely. And the mess that followed has everyone questioning if this fight is even about the children anymore or if it's about control, ego, and a man who simply refuses to let go. But to understand how it got this far, we need to go back. We need to trace the road that led Martell from being one half of Huntsville's golden couple to the center of one of reality TV's most explosive custody battles. Martell Holt wasn't always the man we see now. In the early days of Love and Marriage Huntsville, he and Melody were introduced as the power couple, the ones who had it all. A beautiful family, thriving businesses, and an image that many viewers admired. On camera, they played the part well. Off camera, though, the cracks were already forming. Martell's infidelity wasn't just a rumor, it was a storm brewing for years. When his affair with Arionne Curry came to light, it didn't just end a marriage. It shattered the very foundation of trust that Melody had built her life on. The heartbreak, the humiliation, the betrayal, it was all playing out under the harsh lights of reality TV and the unforgiving glare of social media. When Melody finally walked away, many thought the dust would settle. But Martell wasn't ready to let go. The divorce papers were signed, but the emotional war had just begun. At first, it seemed like a typical post-divorce struggle: custody arrangements, financial disputes, and the bitterness of two people who once loved each other but could no longer stand in the same room. But Martell's behavior started raising eyebrows. His constant outbursts on social media, the way he attacked Melody online, his refusal to follow court orders, it all painted a picture of a man spiraling out of control. And the courts noticed. Judges don't play when it comes to children. From day one, the system made it clear, this wasn't about Martell's ego, his image, or even his money. It was about what was best for those 4 children. Melody stepped into that courtroom prepared, calm, and focused. Martell, on the other hand, seemed determined to fight a war he couldn't win. Fast forward to this year, and things have reached a boiling point. Martell's recent guilty plea for harassment and domestic abuse against Melody wasn't just another headline, it was a game changer. In the eyes of the law, that conviction became a red flag. Judges in Alabama are trained to prioritize the safety and stability of children above everything else. And when a parent has a record tied to domestic violence or harassment, it can heavily sway custody decisions. So when Martell walked back into court trying to push for more custody, the response wasn't just a no. It was a firm shutdown. The court essentially told him, enough is enough. No more stalling, no more appeals, no more dragging Melody back into this cycle of legal warfare. For Martell, it was a devastating blow. For Melody, it was yet another reminder that her patience and persistence were paying off. But here's the twist: this battle isn't just playing out in courtrooms. It's spilling into their lives, their show, and the very way people see them as parents. Fans of Love and Marriage Huntsville have been watching this drama unfold in real time. Every episode, every Instagram live, every blog post adds another layer to the story. And the more Martell fights, the more it looks like he's fighting to save face, not to protect his kids. What nobody expected was just how messy things would get after the court's latest ruling. Instead of accepting the decision and focusing on co-parenting, Martell has been doubling down, posting cryptic captions, throwing shade at Melody, and even using the children as props in his social media narratives. He shows one side of himself online, the loving dad, but then the court records and legal outcomes tell a very different story. And that disconnect is what makes this entire situation so heartbreaking. Because at the end of the day, there are 4 innocent children caught in the middle of this war. They didn't ask for the cameras, the gossip blogs, or the constant back and forth. They just want stability, love, and peace. And yet, every time Martel storms back into court, every time he lashes out online, every time he tries to pull Melody back into the chaos, those children are the ones who suffer the most. Melody has made it clear she's not here to play games. She's building her career, growing her businesses, and trying to give her kids a sense of normalcy despite all the noise. She doesn't clap back at every jab Martel throws. She doesn't engage in the same public meltdowns. Instead, she lets the courts, the facts, and her actions speak for themselves. And so far, that approach is working. Meanwhile, Martel's world feels like it's closing in. The court cases, the financial strain, the public image crisis, it's all weighing on him. And the more desperate he gets, the messier this battle becomes. He's at risk of losing not just custody, but his reputation, his finances, and the last shred of control he's been clinging to since the divorce. The emotional impact of this fight cannot be overstated. For Melody, it's a daily test of strength. To stand in front of her children, smile, and carry on while their father publicly attacks her and privately drags her through court, it takes resilience that many could never imagine. For the children, the scars are still forming. Growing up in a household split by conflict, watching their parents fight in ways most adults couldn't handle, will leave a mark that no court order can erase. And for Martel, this is a turning point. He has to decide, will he keep fighting a battle that's already cost him so much, or will he finally step back, take responsibility, and focus on becoming the stable father his children need? The answer isn't clear yet. But one thing is undeniable: the court's latest decision has left him with fewer options than ever before. This custody battle has become more than just a legal fight. It's a story of pride, pain, and the consequences of refusing to let go. It's about how two people who once shared love and dreams are now standing on opposite sides of a courtroom, fighting over the most precious part of their lives, their children. As fans, as viewers, as people watching from the outside, it's easy to pick sides. Some see Martel as a father who won't give up. Others see him as a man who's more concerned with control than love. But the truth is, only time will reveal the real answer. The courts have spoken, the mess is out in the open, and the world is watching to see what Martel Holt does next. And that's the tragedy and the drama of it all. Because no matter how this story ends, the damage has already been done. The marriage is gone. The trust is broken. And the children will forever remember the years their parents spent locked in battle instead of peace. So the question remains, will Martel finally learn from this moment, or will his pride drag him down even further? Because one thing's for certain: the court has shut him down, but the fight inside Martel Holt is far from over. At the end of the day, this custody battle is no longer just about legal papers, visitation schedules, or who wins in front of a judge. It's about the lives of 4 children who are watching everything unfold in real time. They are old enough to understand when their parents don't get along. They are old enough to see the anger, the bitterness, and the endless fights. And those scars, those silent wounds, don't just disappear once the cameras stop rolling or the court hearings end. They stay with a child forever. Martel has a choice now. He can keep walking down the same road, where pride and ego lead him to more court battles, more public embarrassment, and more distance from the very children he claims to be fighting for. Or he can take a step back, look at the damage, and finally put their well-being above his need for control. Because the truth is, the courts can strip him of custody, the fans can criticize him, and the world can judge him, but the greatest loss will be if his children grow up without peace, stability, and trust in their father. Melody, on the other hand, has shown what resilience looks like. She continues to stand tall, to build, to protect her kids, and to prove that healing is possible even after betrayal. That strength is what the courts see, what the fans respect, and what her children will remember. So as Martel faces the harsh reality of this latest shutdown in court, the question is no longer about who wins. The question is, will he finally change, or will he lose the one thing he can never replace, the love and trust of his children?